Hey everybody, Nick Blazer here with another position analysis video where I'm going to review a whole match, another one that I played for the WBIF Individual Championship. Doing a lot of study coming up for the Chicago Open coming up quickly, so I figure I might as well share everything I'm going through and like learning from my mistakes as videos here. Why not, you know? Um, but okay, so the first position I have here is one that I think I was just like played a little bit too on autopilot, probably. Of course, making the 5 point should be pretty good with double threes. It's a third roll after I point with 6-4. My opponent incorrectly ran with a 6-4. And then I followed up with double threes. And I'll probably look at some variants of these too. But I mean, it's not too surprising that I should instead, play up and down. But I don't know if I know for sure that I shouldn't unstack. Unstacking still looks good, and I'm surprised it's such a big mistake here. So I'm wondering if a big piece of this is because we've made the deuce point specifically. So I wonder if I hop over and tinker with this position real quick. We'll bring up another instance here. Make this a little bit bigger too when I'm working this way. Hold on. If it covers my face for a second, that's okay. But so I'm curious if instead we had a 5-3 to open and they ran, if this would be any different. So we'll take a look at that to learn from it a little bit. And yeah, now they're nearly tied, but it's still a little bit better to make the 5. So, okay, that's the first lesson, that the interaction between, if we hide this, between this 8 point and the deuce point, just matters quite a bit. I guess like those points don't play together well, right? But it's just always, oftentimes we don't switch 8 to 5 because it leaves a shot out here. And once we've already made a point, it doesn't do that either. So the switch should be pretty good always. Okay, I'll move on from that one. I should make notes on these too, really, for myself. I'm just going to go through and talk about them. And maybe I'll make notes afterwards of the really good ones. Here, this one, I do switch this time. And then I remember discussing this in Over the Board. I thought I might run out of timing with the lead in the race on the other side, so I thought I'd advance further. Didn't really want to be primed here. So the interaction with the checkers must be good. And I also felt a little bit like this might be a little bit overrun. I guess it's relatively small. My opponent's going to have a real hard time stepping up here and everything. I'm not in a big rush to get off this. Maybe keeping my contact zone and wider and not allowing my opponent to build their board is pretty good too. So, yeah, not too surprising to miss that one. Let's see, what else do we got? And then I sent a little bit early of a cube here. My idea with this one was that when I hit with a 2 or a 4-3, which is 13 shots, then I'm doing really well. But maybe I'm not doing as well as I think after those. And then additionally, when I don't do those, maybe it's a relatively even game. But I have, like a third of games where I'm just going to basically win right away. The other might be 50-50. And so I was thinking that I wanted to cash in on that volatility now, and the upside, and just always going to have a lead. Common theme, I feel like. But let's take a look here. And if we enter this, look at the cube action. Let's take a look real quick at the dice distribution too. Is that going to pop up on here for me? Oh, it will not. How rude. Oh, I have it. I think I have it. Oh, let's see. Okay. We do have it. Hooray. Let's take a look at this real quick. So our doubles, we see doubles and twos and things like that. So we do tend to lose our market, probably, it looks like, on these. Though our opponent probably has more hits back than I'm thinking. And so it does kind of work like what I was expecting, except our market loss just probably isn't as big as I was thinking, I think that's going to be the issue with it. And I'm wondering if we see anything obvious on the second roll. I don't think it'll show up very well here, but I'm imagining actually that part of the problem is that a lot of times when I hit with the deuce and do whatever, then my opponent can still, I guess if I hit with the 7, it's a bigger problem. There's not going to be a lot of returns. But after the 4-3, a lot of like 6s, 3s, 1s from the bar can still hit back. So, yeah, I don't know. Still looks reasonable for me, and I'm not quite sure why we're not doing as well as I thought. So if I, so looking at this dice distribution again, maybe the issue is that I'm not doing, yeah, I still have positive equity after all of these rolls too. So if we're like even and just have plus here, it feels like that would add up. This it seems like so a half of 2/3 games or something like that should be about 1/3 games that I win, and then I win the other third should be like I would expect 2/3. But I guess I don't win all those. I win less than I was thinking. Okay, so the fact that I'm only at like 0.8 on a lot of these is kind of part of the issue. All right, let's drop that down. And what else do we have going on here? All right, I'm scrolling through my like feed here, and I don't have anything else marked. Okay, here's another cube decision. This one that I missed. All right. So the score is that we're leading a little bit. I have 3 checkers trapped behind. I did pause and think about this one. I am ahead quite a bit in the race. So I think what I was not completely certain of is if I roll some, of course, if I roll a 6-5 or a 6-6 or a 4-4, I'll likely have lost my market. I think I'm doing pretty well there. I guess I'm not completely clear on that either. But I wasn't sure how numbers that made the 5 or the 4 would work. If that would be too much. With 3 checkers behind a 5 prime, it's probably too much to take, even with the 1 back. But I was a little worried that maybe he could make a point, get some counterplay, and I would have still some challenge in escaping the back checker. But so let's look at it real quick. Let's see if I've got the dice distribution. There we go. Cool. I've just got it on the main one. So let's look at those numbers real quick. Yeah, so 2s, well, we talked about the 4s, 6s, and 6-5. So 1-1 that fills in some points. If I hide this real quick, yeah, we can see. So it looks like numbers that make points like 1-1, 2-1, 3-1. All of these are a lot higher equity afterward than maybe I was thinking, and competitive with the hitting rolls. So knowing that those are so strong, I mean, like basically market losers, I guess. If we look at the dice distribution again, it seems to say that 50% of my rolls are going to be market losers. Or maybe that means sequences. I'm not sure actually how it thinks about it. The second roll, he's going to stay in it when he rolls. Let's look at this real quick. When he rolls 6-6, why would that be? Does he? I don't see that one. Why would 6-6, 4-4, or 5-4, any of these be? Huh. I don't understand the rolls that it's like spinning out as very good on the second roll here. Strange. Okay. Yeah, because he doesn't get past. Oh, no. Sorry. These are best for me. Okay. So we should look at it the other way. So his really good rolls are ones that are going to prime me. 3s potentially can make an anchor. 3-1. Okay. 5-3. But yeah, mostly he's just in a lot of trouble after most of my stuff. I guess this is what this is telling me. So let's look at this dice distribution again, what I was talking about. I got confused by the 6s being on the left, but I guess that means it's not best for him. It means it's best for me, which makes sense. Just a bunch of pips and stuck behind a prime, all that. But okay, position just a lot more strong than I was thinking. Of course, my distribution is going to make a 5 prime a little too often. So that one makes sense to me, how this can be too much to take with those 3 behind most of the time. And so we get a little bit further along here. Looks like the same idea, that I'm primed and I'm threatening to send another checker behind the action here. And this is just going to be a little bit too much in general as well. And the counterplay not so strong. I've got enough time to play around. I think what I was actually a little bit worried about too was that if I bring this home against the deuce point without the 4-point made, I'm not sure how good my winning chances are, or how good my opponent's like contact value is. Since let's look at that real quick for fun. So if I bring up the other XG here now. So this is the position we were looking at. What I was thinking about is if I get something like full freedom, but I just never make that and end up with, I don't know, good distribution. Is this good distribution? something like this. And my opponent, of course, has their nice board. What are the chances here? And I think these tend to be okay. So I don't win a lot of gammons. Is this comparable? Probably. Yeah, I don't win many gammons, but I still win 90% of games. So having the 4-point cleared is actually kind of good here. Oh, I should give him more timing, though. That's part of the issue, is that he's going to have to leave a lot of the times. So if we keep winding this back, let's see. We'll just give him a spare in the outfield, too. Now there's gammons, but he's going to win a bunch whenever he gets a shot. Okay, so it only brings it all the way up to like 19% wins, almost 20%. Maybe not as bad as I was thinking. But of course, if we compare that to like a nice distribution deuce point game or something like this, our opponent's only going to win this one 12.5%. So it is like quite a bit, 7% more games that you win when you have that distribution issue. So I wasn't sure how much the fact that he's going to get like 7% more wins when we get to the end was going to factor in here. So I was thinking about that, in that like I might not always close this 4-point, but I do have a lot of time to do it too. So maybe that's part of it. Okay. And of course, if I hit that blot with the 5, that's going to be a big swing as well. We can look at that in dice distribution. See all of our 5s after double take are going to be worth quite a bit. Yeah, well over the 1. 5-3, okay. And, 5-5 is not a great one for some reason. Oh, yeah, that is a little blocked up. Okay. If we look back at we're a little primed on the 5-5. Funny. 5-3 is a little bit awkward, and that has to play 6-3 with the hit. Yeah, it just looks like maybe there's counterplay. If I miss, he can cover that. But big swing on the hit. And I guess if we look at the dice distribution again, then, so what does happen when we miss and he covers? If we roll like a 1-3 that steps up to the edge and plays 7-6, I guess, we're looking good. And so I think we can use details to find like expanded. Let's go find our 3-1, and he rolls just something that covers. How about like a simple 2-1? Something like this. We're still looking pretty good at a plus 0.7. So we haven't fallen off too much from where we were. Yeah, it's not a ton of counterplay. We're still really close to cubes. So nothing really too bad can happen, is what that's indicating to me. Okay. So we'll move on from that one. All right. So our next one that we have, yeah, this one I thought was really neat because I thought about coming out 20-16 for the timing after the roll. Can kind of see after we play this completely that we're going to give up the midpoint. We might have trouble running off the 22. Things are kind of going to be very difficult. And so, yeah, but we're only had 5 in the race, so it didn't feel urgent, and I didn't really want him to be able to build behind necessarily or attack my 22-point blot. But yeah, we can just have the same 4-point board with more timing and probably better contact and more flexibility. So I feel like this makes a lot of sense. I'm not sure. Yeah, the 4-point board protects us enough from being attacked back here too. We keep good contact. I'm not sure. Yeah, this one seems a lot easier after the fact. Thought about it, just couldn't pull the trigger on it. Feels strange to switch 20-16 a lot of times. It's not like that common we do it, but when we're ahead in the race or close, that can come up. And this was the harder one for me. Came up a little bit later, but apparently we're happy to switch to the 16, even if it leaves our exposed blot on the 20-point with all these numbers that can point on head now as well. So leading the race and the 4-point board. The 4-point board protects us like in an anchor sense too, and we just don't have to worry about it, I guess, is kind of the lesson of this position. I'm not sure why this would be so bad. I guess, giving up shots out here can lose. Yeah, I was worried about this, that being hit can cause us to lose what little race lead we have right now, right? And certainly we don't want to leave this behind and I guess like play 2 in, I don't think, I can see how that's not playing into our leading race game plan. So it was tricky to know how to like capitalize on this exact roll here. I can make some sense out of the 16, but it just doesn't feel like a very usual play. Yeah, so I'm kind of curious to compare these with some dice distribution too. I wonder if I can bring them both up at the same time here. what happens if I go like this and like this? Nope, they're both the same one right now. See if I can get it to be the other one. I think it only notices the one. Yeah, okay. So that's fine. We can look at one at a time. I will look at the, oh, what do I want to see? This one. Yeah, graph. Okay. So, yeah, we're generally doing well after, oh, we can hide one of these for you. So if I look at the 22 to 16, 8 to 4 like I played, we're happy when he misses, I guess, is going to be a lot of it. And I imagine, we're reasonably happy, but we're never doing that great. Okay. Some of the 4s that hit are going to be awkward. I remember thinking that he did roll like a 4 or 6 and have to leave the shop there. And we're a small underdog after that. Double 4s is going to rock us. Okay. Racing rolls are going to be a problem. Yeah, I guess those all are bad either way, but okay. And so if we clear that one and we go and look at the best play now in dice distribution here, it looks like the big difference is just that we have bigger upside, doesn't it? So after a 4-1, why is that so great? Oh, because it's a low roll that doesn't point on us, doesn't want to attack, anything like that. We create the 3-2, 2-1, 3-1, and some small sets, but big doubles are bad otherwise. And then otherwise, when he can't attack us, we're doing really well. We're like kind of decent favorites. So in the 0.1 to 0.2 range in general, a little bit over. We go back to the other option once more. We're never better than 0.1. Okay, yeah, so there's just a lot more upside. We can come out of this way ahead. It's an interesting one. Let me think about that looking at the position again, that we can come out way ahead after making this play. Because we've got a 10 pip lead, and we're likely to be able to get this checker moving very well. And so we just have like a small advantage that way. And yeah, I guess that's enough. Guess that makes sense. We do this, we're stuck back, so we have the racing lead, but we have to escape the 20 and we can run out of time. That tends to balance out. Actually leaves us an underdog because a couple of rolls are going to hit and kind of extend prime, or a couple like market losers. Still big sets and things like that, So there's just like no upside. Yeah, okay. Think I've convinced myself. Let's see, what else do we have here? We have this 4-2. Yeah, I was not sure here. I guess I just went for mobility, and it was a big deal to anchor up just in case he enters. We haven't sent the cube yet, is a big piece of it, possibly. I am curious. It looks by the numbers like it's probably still best. Yeah, I think part of this might be, I want to check that real quick. So if I bring up the other XG, I'm curious if part of why this is so bad is that we haven't sent the cube yet. And if we could play a more gammonish play with more risk, then yeah. So now we would prefer, the best way to run is to step up to the 22 and link with 20 to 16. But it's gotten better, at least, to play out 20 to 14. Anchoring still is a totally viable option. So yeah, I guess the idea in this position, I was thinking I have a checker up on the bar, right? And I want to think about closing it out and focus on like winning a gammon. And if he enters, I should just be able to claim no matter what anyway. But I guess like protecting from some super jokers like double aces or something that can get some counterplay must make more sense, must mean more. I think coming out to the 14, I guess maybe I don't ever get a new direct shot on that. I was thinking that I get returns when my opponent hits with like a 4-6, that I at least see that checker from the bar. Maybe it's better to see it from the 16 though. Okay, interesting. Yeah. I don't know. I was just surprised because it came out as 0.078, and I think the magnitude, as we saw, is like, I guess it's just a better place to get returns. Yeah. I'm surprised that we'd want to be on the double 4s. I think that was part of what kind of threw me off here too. I didn't think we'd want to be hit by that. So for here, then we don't care as much about double 4s, right? I don't know. That is a strange one. Let's see if we can see something in dice distribution here. Yeah, there's a few more anti-jokers I can see. And what is the difference here? So there are more two goods after this as well. No. Yeah, so this is all like looking at rolls that my opponent rolls. So we're still, yeah, when we have the anchor, then aces aren't doing all that much. We're just going to claim. Okay. Yeah, aces are a big problem the other way. So we're looking at this one. There's like nothing. The only problems are 4-6 can run out and hit on the 10 point. 4-4 can, yeah, is a big problem. 4-4 is much worse this way. When we look at the other graph, but it's still pretty good the other way too, I guess is part of it. And we get so much in exchange. So yeah, this is a graph we can see there's only like the two anti-jokers really. Everything else is at least a claim, and then everything on the left is too good. And so if we look at just the 20-14 here, we can see that the 4-6 hit is still a bad one. The aces are going to make a prime in front of us. That's a bigger problem, or does it hit? Not sure. 4s are still bad. 2-1 is going to enter and hit. Yeah, that got a lot better. 4-2 is going to enter and hit. So, I mean, I guess a lot of it is probably just this 4-2 and 2-1. Where the other way, it's just 4-6. Yeah, so we just don't want to leave any shots that like get the opponent back in the game. Okay, that seems like largely... I guess I want to call it a cube thing, but maybe it's actually not. I guess it's the same story when we haven't sent the cube in a way. Okay. Yeah, no reason to leave that stuff, I suppose. Yeah, 24-15. I thought we just wanted to get a checker into the action to close out here, but it's better to go for full freedom. The 4-6 is a lot worse. Entering numbers that play down can try to contain. So we create like a 4-3 and a 1-3 though, and a 4-2 and a 1-2. So by the logic that we just looked at, it seems like that would be a big problem. But we have many two good rolls still. Okay. So, but we can see a lot more rolls where, okay, it's like just getting below. We can still cash after most of these, I guess it's telling us. Since we've largely escaped, if he hits, yeah, we have returns from the bar. Yeah, okay, we get a lot of returns on the 4-2 and the 1-2, things like that now. So that's a thing too, plus we're shooting at it from the bar. And we don't have another checker sent back. So it's not a second checker back. It's only going to send one back. So I guess we're just doing a lot better off now that we can go for something a little bit bigger. Let's look at the 14-5. This one definitely has less anti-jokers. But it would seem... Are we just too good a little less often? The 4-6 is stronger because we left the checker back. And he controls the outfield and we have two back now. Yeah, okay. So everything that interacts with that extra checker back is quite a bit worse for us. So there's a couple of real big downsides, couple cashes, still lots of two goods. Let's look at that dice distribution on the original one more time. Yeah, lots more cashes. There's just the 4-6 and the 1-1 that are problems. So anti-joker is 11.1%. 3 out of 36. Is that what that is? No, it's like 1/9 it's saying. I guess more of these count or something. I'm not sure how it calculates anti-jokers then. But the 1-1 and the 4-6, lots of cashes. Okay. I'm going to look back one more time. Just trying to add these all up. 1-1, 4-6, and 4-4. So why is... I'm a little bit surprised that 4-4... Seems like one roll is the difference, mostly. I don't see too much difference in the two good portion of this. But 4-4, I guess, makes a prime in front of a checker back. Yeah, it does nothing when we're escaped. You know, like we're still fine. But when we play down there, now he makes a 4 prime in front of us. Or something like this. Or can escape and contain. Yeah, okay. Just has more counterplay. I get it. Cool, I'm convinced. Let's see. And so we actually get to something like that where we have two checkers back and we're trying to deal with this now. So I enter with a 2 and decide to hide the blot there. But I should pop out to avoid losing my timing instead. And this is almost like a dead even game. They're pretty close. This is very interesting. So the 2 in, the 6 out. If the 2 hits, it's duplicated with a lot of pointing rolls. I guess that makes a big difference there. Also, if he hits with the 3, then we have returns on one of those from out here, possibly. So we cover the outfield a lot better. Yeah, I think that's what I figured out with it, actually. Is just that, like, the follow-up when we're hit our opponent. Oh, yeah, we have direct contact on this, so we can't really clean up both blots very effectively other than a 7. So when we play behind, then he can just cover the outfield and just kind of have that all to himself. So, yeah, positionally, we're not pressuring as much, and it actually is worth the shots, apparently. That's very interesting. All right. 4-1. Yeah, this one, again, I have a 5-point board now I can have to his 1-point board. So I wasn't sure I needed the anchor, but of course he can roll some sets or something to get right into this. So it's better tactically to just have it. And the difference between my 4 and 5-point board isn't so huge here. So I guess just having the defensive asset just in case. And I get to the edge and can leap, you know. So there's a little bit of benefit that way. But I thought I wanted more contact and to spread out to take advantage of my board strength and make a 5-point board here too. That's what I prioritized here incorrectly. Let's look for another one. Yeah, we'll have to make some notes on these so I remember for sure. This was a tricky one too. I, once again, was not sure. If I pop out to the bar and hide the blot, then I'm going to get returns when I'm hit on the bar. That's kind of my idea here. And if I just run like I haven't, let's see, is it kind of like the free roll situation? Where I might have one escaped and sometimes I have 2 and otherwise I just have 2 with like a split. I guess it kind of follows that logic. It's Deniak's idea where if you run all the way when you're missed, then you've escaped the checker. And then when you hit, well, you have 2 checkers back like you did before. Maybe you're not as likely to anchor. But let's see. What is the... We leave a lot more shots too than just the 3. And we are attacking that blot that is back more effectively when he stays there too. So keeping everything ready to pounce when we're missed seems pretty strong too. And there is some good 3 duplication. 3-1 and 5-3 and 6-3 all make points already. Double 3s must be a good roll anyway as well. So yeah, okay. I think I can see why hiding the blot. I think I just didn't want to risk as much race and wanted to prioritize having returns and contact. I guess, but yeah, I can see for all the reasons I mentioned. And also, I don't actually, I mean, I still get it when he hits here. I'm going to get a ton of returns unless he rolls exactly a 3-5. I'm going to have shots from the bar for sure. Yeah, okay. I can see this one, I think. What else do we have? On to 6 away, 11 away. Oh, there's a flag. What I do is when I'm like doing the actual play and explain videos, I flag all the positions that are interesting to me or that I want to review and study. But okay, so I thought I'm way ahead in the race and I just want to play quiet and bring a winning race home, especially with the lead in the score. However, this is going to be stiff enough and awkward enough with a stack of 5 and a stack of 6 that I need to just go for a loose hit. I mean, these are just always very interesting to capture as references and study. Against only the 2-point board, it's not too bad. But yeah, this is how bad it is to try to play that stiff with no board whatsoever. Yeah, interesting that way. I don't know if I can like find this every time, but it's a nice reference to have to know when even though clearly your game plan is to play safe and quiet, you still have to do something to try to make your ride home easier. I also didn't want the blot to be able to come in deeper on the 24 for more contact. So I thought I should leave it here. Where the roll before, I was happy to hit on the deuce and hope he entered higher. Also, I get to make a board point when I do this. But you know, I did consider that he could enter deeper and I could create more contact, and that wasn't what I wanted. So that's always the thing you want to think about in games like this. Oh, this was a really close one, but this is very interesting too. I think it makes sense to me now. I was thinking over the board that that once again, I'm ahead in the race and I just want to clear. And the easiest and most flexible way to do that would be to make the 9, give myself a lucky 5-4, or else just be able to clear the 9 more easily, something like that. But when I play all these down, I guess I probably have, maybe I just have more time. Either way, I have one problem point to clear, and actually in creating the 9, I've just created a second problem point to clear, even though usually it's flexibility. It's not always. So maybe this just gives me one less problem, even though it's direct 6-away contact here and frees up his midpoint. But also I have a lot of spares to play with from here. So yeah, I don't know. Those are tricky. Those are always very difficult to decide. 6-away, 11-away. I'm sure. Oh yeah, my opponent runs off their anchor in this losing race. And I was thinking, I wasn't sure about the cube. If he stayed on the anchor, it felt like it was getting close, and we could look at that. Looks like no double up here if he leaves it, like pretty clearly so, with no board and good contact, all that kind of stuff. But when he does, and at the score, I was thinking that I did not have enough to cube this still. And actually, looking at these numbers, I don't understand why I do either. I would think that I would want to adjust enough here to not send this and risk a recube. And I don't see a ton of volatility because I don't think I'm really hitting here. I'm just like playing the race. Yeah, and my... Okay, double 1s are pretty strong, is what dice distribution says. I get that. Double 3s pretty good as well. Yeah, double 5s win the race. Okay, so I've got some big swings like that, and otherwise I just have a leading race that I'm trying to bring home like a holding game anyway. Okay, but yeah, I'm not really sure. These numbers I'm used to seeing closer to like 75% in a holding game or something like that, or 72 at least is kind of like the bottom. And I would have thought that I would adjust more for the score. So let's look at what this says at a normal score and things like that too, and see if we can learn a little bit about the score influence. So like unlimited games, if we're playing for money, it is a little bit bigger cube, but not by much. And I'm not sure that I would know to send this in a regular money game either. My thought was that like the blots behind make the contact value not worth as much, but I guess I still have a couple anti-joker or a couple total jokers here that do win some gammon. So maybe that's all that matters there. And you can't always clean up next time. Maybe I'll be threatening too much if I just lift this or something. Yeah. Okay. And if we look at match play in some, let's see, if we're like 3-away, 11-away. I guess something like this, we're probably far enough away from it. Okay. So the 6-away, 11-away is adjusting a lot less. Let's kind of look one by one. What about 4-away, 11-away? We're still happy to send it 4-away, 11-away. Okay. So as long as we don't like have cube overage, this is a fine one to send, even with a major lead. Very interesting. Okay. That's a tricky one, but talk about this in my match play adjustment book a little bit. This is like the only way to really figure out exactly how, because I mean, I don't think looking at take points and things like that really helps you sort this out. I think you just have to get a feel for sort of like what is enough to cause you to change your mind about cubes in these like non-volatile positions and things like that. Let's take this off. Let's look for more positions. So the next sequence, I do end up doubling, and I think I was surprised that it's a little bit weaker than I would have thought. I got the right action here, but I did not suppose that I was only 70% to win. And if I did, maybe I wouldn't have thought to send this. So I thought the 15 pip lead would be plenty, but he has a 5-point board. I have an open 5. So maybe a single checker contact can be good enough here. That's tricky. I mean, I don't know if I would take this for money, but the numbers are saying I definitely should. So this one looks scary, and I thought this was one for sure that I need to, like, I don't know, spend time with and look at. Maybe the best way is just to play it out to see how the contact works, but it looks pretty scary. I guess I don't really have time to just build my board and wait to, like, pick and pass or anything like that. I have to get a little bit lucky to do that, and maybe I'm just going to, like, give up a point or volunteer a shot immediately anyway. What's an example here? I guess a 5-4 is like a real, I'm just going to give up the 8-point, I guess. Yeah. Maybe I have bad enough rolls and I just got to look for those anti-jokers. Actually, let's do that. We'll just take a look at the dice distribution real quick, because that always reveals everything. My worst is a 5-3. Yeah, 5-3 sucks. I got to play my spare from the 6 and the 4 to the ace. Okay, a 5-1, also burying. Yeah, 6-1 is going to be forced to leave a shot right away. And then 5-4 is next after that. 2-1 could cover, and what does that do? It could cover and hit. Otherwise, it has to like just play 6-3 quiet or something like that. Okay, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of rolls that just aren't great, and so when it's like that, I guess it's a lot more playable than it looks, especially when your opponent already has the 5-point board. Perfect pure one too. Let's see. This one was really hard. I was not sure about this at all. I knew that I wanted to hit, and maybe at more normal scores, I would have thought to play for the gammons, but I did not realize that it was going to win more as well. And I think I just need the time to escape there. I was really worried about having another checker behind a 5 prime, of course. And so a third of the time that's going to happen. But I guess the weakness of my position when my opponent just enters and anchors must be a big part of this. Like I'm just not doing well enough when he comes in and kind of negates my structure, I guess is the issue. But let's double check that with dice distribution. So yeah, when he rolls 3-3, so he can anchor and switch and things like that with all these best numbers, or anchor and hit off the edge, or hop in and what is the 6 going to do? I guess play down, whatever. Yeah, basically all his 3s that anchor are just massively good for him. Aces and 2-1, and 3-1 is his worst one, but that's fine. Only leaves a shot. And then most things, so I get a lot. I'm still happy when he fans, of course, but of course when I hit the second one, I'm also happy when he fans, probably happier. And then I still have this middle section of entering and making the ace points actually pretty good too. And what is deuce 4, deuce 6? Yeah, okay. Just entering and being on the board, is going to force me to have to do something quickly here too. So I'm never doing that well after I just play quiet. Well, I mean, yeah, 0.2 is best. So let's look at the best play. I have doubled my equity when he fans. So those are like much better. I'm way better off when he just enters 1 as well, because he's still going to have 1 on the roof. Yep. Okay, I'm crushed after double 3s. Most when I get hit with the 3, I don't like it, but I can be even with some of those because he'll still have a checker on the roof. Very interesting. Okay. Yeah, so the downside just isn't as bad as I thought relative to him just entering and anchoring. So that seems to be the issue there. This one, I thought I needed to hop the prime and then choose between which ace to hit. But hopping the prime is not the priority here. I guess he can enter pretty quickly if I just pick up both checkers with this best play. So this is an interesting idea too, to prime him. But if I hit both and he just comes in on the 2-3, like now I have the prime slotted and I'm almost always going to make that. And I can get into a prime versus prime where he's going to crack and have 4 checkers behind a 5 prime pretty easily. That seems like a strong plan and pretty robust. And I'm still quite a ways off from like running out of timing and cracking. I should have some time to roll a 6 from here. So yeah, okay, I can see it. I was not thinking prime when my opponent had a 5 prime and I had 2 back already. So I had the wrong game plan there. Well, those tend to be where the big mistakes come from. And I'm not sure I get a lot more opportunities to make mistakes in this match. I think I get to a giant lead here and then just end up losing. Oh, here's a bunch of flags. Yeah, this was a tricky one too. Of course, I'm making the 4 and then I wasn't sure. Same as the double 3s play where I wanted to come out to the bar for timing. Maybe I just didn't want to be behind structure, but it's fine in front of this 23, making the points. Yeah, I can play more offensively. Okay, just win more gammons. I don't know. It's reasonably close. That's a tricky one, though. Yeah, this one I thought I wanted another checker for attacking in the mix, even though, of course, I risk more on the 3-5. And I thought about stepping 24 to 22 to get out of the way of that dilly builder, the ace. Yeah, I'm just playing a little bit too big and giving him too many ways to hit back, I guess. And now I'm going to miss a bunch of cubes at 4 away, 7 away. These are difficult ones to find. 10.5, yeah, it's like a money cube. I guess, but I think my issue is that I still have 3 back. I'm down in the race. So this is clearly like this is a big money cube, and I don't know. I don't know if I know that for sure, but a 4-point board should be pretty strong. I think I paused to think about it. Um, but yeah, I thought maybe it's still, you know, still enters half the time and has a pretty good game. All these kinds of things. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'm underestimating the weakness of these three checkers on the 23 as well. Could be a part of it. Same story here, of course, except now I have even more shots. And I think I at least get it right when... Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is a little surprising. What is this? This is 21, so... Yeah, okay, so we went to 67 to 34. What is this one? 67 and 30. So this is a cube with less gammons. And this is not a cube with more gammons, but my opponent has more gammons too. That's a weird one on the math. This looks a lot more volatile, of course. I guess the swings, maybe when I fan, I'm getting recubed is a big issue with it and things like that. So I thought that was a pretty funky score dynamic. That, like, this is, I think, getting closer to a pass than the last one for money. But it's become less of a cube here somehow. 654. Yeah, we have less equity too. Okay. Yeah, some feature of volatility there. That's an interesting score sequence. 2 away, 7 away. See if I got any issues in this one. I could be just using the feature that allows me to jump to the next flag, but I'm scrolling through things instead. Instead of clearing the rearmost points, and oh yeah, I think this one might be entirely double fours, which is what my opponent rolls afterward. So yeah, so here when we keep it blocked, it's kind of a nothing roll. Great. We hate double sixes and double fives are okay, and everything else is whatever, we're doing good. And we should be able to claim, actually, a lot of times when he cracks. I guess that's the idea. Or something. No, I don't know about claim. Maybe claim. Maybe claim when he cracks, because we rolled well enough. Interesting. But so, when we look at the dice distribution on this one, 6s, 5s, and now 4s are much worse. Okay, we're just clearly not going to have a cube. Actually, there's some other... He can pop out with 6-5 and 6-4. Okay, 6-3 got stronger too somehow. Yeah, we can't attack when he runs with 1 with the 6. Is an issue too. Okay. That's interesting. Yeah, so we do prepare our board for when he goes on that too. Okay. That one makes enough sense. Hide the dice distribution again. Oh, I gotta close it to allow myself to use XG. Oh, I remember this one being... Yeah, I don't know how I tricked myself into this one. I need to go through and figure out exactly why. But I got really confused about this, that the 6-off, is it like really... If I have an ace later, I can play it 2 days, so I wasn't worried about taking a checker off right away. But if I roll a 4, I don't like it. And if I play 5-4, then my 5 goes to the ace anyway. So it's not as bad, I felt like. So I thought maybe I got like a little bit better distribution playing 6-4 for some reason. But now 6-5 and 6-4 are good. So I don't know. I guess it just must not be enough better than every time I roll an ace. So let's look at this. So this is going to be our rolls that we care about. And after 2-1, we're still, okay, our 4s are bad, but we have, and our 6s are good. Blah, blah, blah. They still look pretty bad when we roll aces in general. So yeah, it's a little bit weird, but that's good. What about the one where you play 5-4? We just need to roll a set either way. So on this one, we have way more aces that are bad. I guess just all our aces are bad. Yeah, that's kind of what I talked about there. But, I mean, even worse, I got tricked after this, though. This was a big problem. Either way, I wasn't sure if I was taking once I thought through it. So I just used like an eyesight type formula to calculate that my opponent was wasting Well, I'm wasting one more pip than he is on the deuce point. But maybe he's wasting two or some number of pips more on the ace point. And so I think he's already wasting at least one pip more there. Then one more gap is another pip. So if it's 26, then it should be like 28 to 30, which I think should be a pretty easy take on adjustment. But I wasn't sure. Yeah, it looks like a 2 pip deficit, and that's what the UPC comes out to as well. So I guess that the eyesight's working pretty well there. But then I started to look at it and think about, well, should I think about this as more rolls or something like this? And I guess it looks like a 5 roll with some misses on both sides. But my idea was that if my opponent doesn't miss now with a 5 or a 4 and like rolls the 6 first, which is likely, then he's on the clear 5 roll. And if I roll an ace at any point for basically the rest of the game, then I fall off the lead roll. So I thought my misses were just spectacularly more likely. And that I was more like a full roll behind or something like that. And I actually wasn't sure about like the money action for this one this late in the game either. Because I can take a lot deeper at this 5-way, 2-way score. So let's hop over here and see what this looks like. A normal score. Yeah, it's still a take there. Less sizable one. But I wasn't sure if it was long enough to get some recube value or not. So that's a good thing to check there. Closer to pass. But yeah, I guess I'm just surprised that the eyesight works so well on this, that he's going to waste so many pips. It doesn't feel like that should matter here. I don't know. That's confusing. I wonder if we see anything in dice distribution with this for him. Probably not. Yeah, so his worst rolls are going to be all these like 4s and 5s that kind of take a checker off. And there's a lot of those, and they're pretty bad. Okay. Then on the second roll, all of his best are going to be any ace. But like this is going to keep happening. Yeah, I can miss with my 5s as well. And he's doing amazing after that. So I don't know. I guess I can still roll a set and get back in it or something. But this one's confusing to me. It's a very tricky one. Not sure I'll get that. I'm going to figure out some way to trust eyesight on that one, I guess. We have 2-way, 4-way. Nothing really happens there. I pass at some point. 2-way, 3-way. Yeah, I have the much better board, and I thought that I should take advantage of that by coming off the anchor. But the way to take advantage of that is to clear the 9 and just keep giving my opponent nowhere to play. I just give him room to move here, and I'm not in that big of a rush. And I'm not very worried about him hitting with the deuce here. I thought I was less worried about being hit back here, but I guess I'm down a bunch in the race anyway, so yeah, if I have the anchor. That makes sense in retrospect. Just kind of overthought that one. It's pretty rare that you give up your anchor when you're down in the race. And then the final game here. I could not decide on the game plan here. I have, of course, I just thought after I enter like this and play the 5 down that I don't really have timing to play this prime necessarily. And he only has one checker to stack up to the edge anyway. I give him his full roll to extend to a 5 prime of his own with 2 behind. I am an underdog after this play. So I'm not like entirely off here. I'm worried about him rolling an ace as well. I guess maybe he has some really bad rolls like 6s and 5s as well. 4s are probably pretty playable. So I do give him some anti-jokers. But I thought after this one, I have the better board. When he fans, I think I'm in great shape. I can just kind of clean up blots and hit and come on my way home. And he doesn't get to extend his prime, so I should have an easier time escaping. So I convinced myself that, the big problem is that I have to give up a 5 prime for just a 3 prime to do this. So that's pretty huge. Maybe that's just enough to see it there. That structurally I'm just giving up so much. But I do get to keep the midpoint. Something small there. But I wonder if I see anything on dice distribution here. I can look at them both. Which one shows up on the screen here? It's going to be the bar to 24, 13 to 8. So, yeah, we're super happy, like we said, after he rolls certain numbers. And we're super sad on some that extend the prime and get to the edge and things like that. Okay. But it's always at worst 0.5, and we have like one big upside. So yeah, and we have a lot of rolls that are doing pretty well. When he rolls big numbers, he's really not doing great. Okay. And so if I just look at the hitting one, wow, there's a lot more where we get down to a deficit. And anytime he hits with a deuce, we're in big trouble. And the ace-6 hits as well. Yeah, the 3-5 hits as well. Okay, so all the shot levers are just too big of a swing. And when he fans, we're actually not doing that well. We're not doing any better. Yeah, the 5 prime's just that much stronger, I guess. You know, like we're going to have so much trouble reconstructing it and things like that, I suppose. And blitzing him off the board. Okay. It's just the wrong plan and going to be harder to execute than I was thinking. He can always just enter with 1 and pop out or something. I don't know. This is not an easy one for me. But moving on. That's the last blunder in the match. Or, you know, one that I had marked that I wanted to study. So I'll wrap this one up here, and that's my match review from this one. I've got another Plain Explain coming out tomorrow that was the prize for Turkey, and that one I just got like savaged with the cube. I just could not figure anything out. So I'm really excited to do a study video with that one and try to learn what I can from all like the crazy cube scenarios that came up there. And hopefully that'll all prepare me really well for Chicago to play my best. So looking forward to that. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Getting so close to 1,000. I really appreciate that if you watch this far. And yeah, thanks everybody. Bye for now.